Hello, this is Reginald Andre with Arc Solvers, the number one cybersecurity company in South Florida. And today we are talking about, unfortunately, another cyber attack that happened. And in this case, it's with the nonprofit firm called Philabundance. And they were scammed out of $1 million. Nearly $1 million went out of their bank account. They can't get it back. They initiated it. They even had cyber insurance, and unfortunately, it doesn't matter that they had cyber insurance protection uh, because they were the ones that initiated the transfer. So they basically gave the bad guys the money. So let's rewind a little to talk about how this could have happened, and most importantly, how to make sure that this doesn't happen to your business, because especially during these times, I mean, it's just like, Philabundance, for those of you that don't know, they're based out of Philadelphia. They're actually one of the largest nonprofit food banks. So this nonprofit is helping the community get fed, and they're doing this large by public donations. So it's not like, the money's just reeling in. They really have to work hard in order to get this money. And cyber criminals, they always follow the money. And let's just talk about how did they do this. So the first thing is, just to give you a perspective, they were doing a construction project where they're going to have this new building, and apparently it's about a $12 million construction project. So because that was kind of the first thing, how does someone in accounting just send out $1 million? I mean, it doesn't even matter what type of business you are in, unless you're a multi-billion-dollar business. You're not just sending out $1 million wires left and right. That's pretty much a big deal. So essentially what happened, based on the reports, is that someone in accounting got an email, and it was a phishing email where they clicked on the link. Some type of malware got on their computers, and that's now the bad guys were now able to control their emails. So the bad guys now, most likely doing research. It's probably public information that they probably even did a grand announcement that they're going to be doing a construction project. They may even have published who the general contractor is going to be. And essentially now this hacker, this criminal, he was reading the emails, looking at all of the back and forth emails that this person in accounting was having. And they realized that, okay, here's the general contractor, or here's one of the contractors that we need to pay. And they see that there is some money that's being talked about, and the invoice is roughly about $1 million. Most likely this was to be paid in phases, right? If it's a $12 million construction project, and maybe now phase 3 is, hey, we need another $1 million. Here's proof that we finished this task. So once the hacker realized this, what they did is they then made changes in the rules of the email box, which means that anytime someone from that construction company emailed this accounting person, it would maybe go into the deleted folders, and essentially would hide that message from being in that accounting person's inbox. So from there, the bad guy most likely went and purchased a domain that was very similar to this construction company. So if the construction company was called abcconstructionphiladelphia.com, the bad guy probably went and purchased a domain that was called abcdconstructionphiladelphia.com. And if the guy's name was Jay, then he now created an email that was called j@abcdconstructionphiladelphia.com. And he began to just start emailing this accounting person and most likely gaining trust. And once that trust was made, it was then reported that what then happened is that the money was talking. Okay, here's the invoice. And again, most likely what happened is that the cyber criminal checked the old emails of this accounting person. They saw the layout, the template of how ABC Construction does their invoices, and followed that same template. And when they sent that template, more than likely they had to put wire, because you don't just write a check for $1 million, and essentially says these are our wiring instructions. And all during this time, ABC is thinking that they're going to be getting their money, but the hacker is talking as ABCD and talking with the Philabundance, and now they're communicating, and just like that, they lost almost $1 million. To be exact, it's $923,000 that this company, that this nonprofit organization lost. So, how do you make sure that you and your business don't fall for this? Well, there's a lot of things here. The biggest thing is training and procedures. Personally, what I would have suggest, and I'm not here to play Monday morning quarterback because I don't know all of the particulars of Philabundance, but I'm just now talking about what can make sure that small businesses like us, what can we do to ensure something like this doesn't happen? The first thing that could have been done is that you could put what is called two-form factor authentication on your emails, because let's just say, I don't know, but let's just say that the bad guy was able to get into the computers and he ran a program on that computer to find out what is the email password. From there, he can be in his home, in his country, and now be able to read this person's email. Well, had two-form factor been on, and maybe it was at Philabundance and it was done a different way, but again, I'm talking to you as a business owner and explaining why it's so important to have two-form factor on, is because this bad guy would not have been able to access the person's email to continue. And especially all accounts should have two-form factor authentication, but especially something like a accounting department, you should definitely have it on. Another thing that small businesses can start to do is POs. POs, which is also called a purchase order, is a very simple way where you would have a job that you want done. You provide your vendor the PO number, and when it's time to pay the invoice must have the PO number, because another thing that happens is that cyber criminals, they will either physically look and be in front of your building and see what type of vendors you deal with, and then find out, okay, I'm going to act like I'm the security guard company. I'm going to act like I'm the landscaping company. They're going to find out who you do business with. And the easiest way to find out who you do business with is they can either call your front desk, they can either call your office, and they can just say, hey, I was at your building the other day and I love the way you guys kept your grass. I love the way your office was clean and that scent that you had. Can you recommend that company to me? I love the remodel you did in your office. I love the chairs. I love the furniture. I mean, just think of all the vendors that you use in your office. Even if you only use them once, it doesn't matter. And from this, cyber criminals then take that information, and then that's when, again, they start the phishing emails. So in this case, according to the reports, they did have cyber insurance, but unfortunately, because the employee actually initiated this, the cyber insurance is not going to cover it, is what I read in one of the articles, which is, again, important. Why, yes, it's great to have a cyber insurance, but read your policies and make sure that in these type of cases, either your policy includes that, and if it doesn't include it, you got to be sure that your employees are getting trained and looking out for these things. Looking out, hey, when you're doing something, with sensitive information, do a double check. Double check the email. Double check the reply. Pick up the phone and call. Hey, did you send me this invoice? I don't really recall asking for this. Well, what is this about? Pick up the call. Don't just email and just say, what is this invoice about? But pick up the phone call and talk to that vendor that's requesting that invoice. And just like that, things like this would have been avoided. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Every day we come on live Monday to Friday to talk about different cyber attacks that's happening and how to protect your business. We always like to speak in plain English because I think that's just the best way to talk about these things. You don't want to have technical jargon to confuse you. And we always want these videos to be nice, short, and sweet. And most importantly, information that you can take today and go to your business tomorrow to implement. So everything we talked about today, two-form factor authentication, having POs, is things that you can easily go tomorrow in your office, do a quick Google search how to do it, and then from there you can go and you can implement this in your office. So we'll see you tomorrow on our next live. And we are focusing, because it is the holidays, we are focusing on a lot of holiday crimes and a lot of cyber holiday crimes, which in this case was just unfortunate because it was a nonprofit helping the community, and now cyber criminals just took $1 million from them. Thank you.